last week, Chris and I took a trip up to Harrogate in Yorkshire, which is just a little bit up from us in the top half of England, and we went to go and visit the Harrogate Spring, which is one of the UK's many natural spring water sources. So we are super lucky in this country to have drinkable tap water, but in order for our tap water to become drinkable, it needs to be treated with lots and lots of chemicals to make it safe, including chlorine, which is why sometimes when you have a glass of water from the tap, it might taste a little bit funny. But natural source water, or spring water, has to come straight from the ground, straight to you, and it can't be touched by anything. And that's what makes it taste so nice and refreshing. So these natural water sources that we've got all across the UK are often protected areas of the country and conservation sites to make sure that nothing gets in to the water source and contaminates it. And with it being a conservation area, it means that the natural flora and fauna of the area is really rich, and it's great for the biodiversity of the environment around that source. So although we've got natural water sources all across the UK, Harrogate has actually got 88 unique natural water sources just in Harrogate alone. And back in the 16th and 17th century, people would flood over to Harrogate, which was coined a spa town, because they'd heard of the healing properties of this magical spa water. And they would be treated for their ailments by drinking this natural source spring water, and apparently it was supposed to cure everything from diabetes to anxiety. The natural source spring water in Harrogate was so prolific that they shipped it over to Bombay to keep our troops hydrated in World War I. We get told all the time that we need to stay hydrated and make sure we drink enough water. Maybe there's something in it, guys. Fun fact, there's such a job as a water sommelier, like a wine sommelier, but for water. Now, I'm not gonna lie, if you got me to pick one of those, do I want to taste wine for a living or taste water? I think I know which one I'm gonna go for, but it's really interesting the fact that you wouldn't think it, but different water sources can taste different. So it's all to do with the natural minerals in the earth where that water source is bored that will make each one taste slightly different, from saltiness to crispness to how refreshing it is on the tongue. Again, not as exciting as wine, but definitely better for you. When we were in Harrogate, we got to go and visit Harrogate Tipple, which is a local gin distillery who actually use the natural spring water from the Harrogate Spring in their gin. So for all of you gin fans out there, when you make a gin, you mix all of your special unique botanicals into your base spirit, and once it's distilled, you have to dilute it down. Now, a lot of gin makers will just use tap water to do this, to get it down to the desired ABV that you want to sell it at. However, as we know, our tap water is full of chemicals and can taste completely different from one tap to the other. So you spent all this time getting the most beautiful botanical taste only to dilute it with some chemicals. So Harrogate Tipple always use the natural spring water to dilute theirs, because you know it's always going to taste the same and there's no chemicals in there. So next time you're out for a meal and the waiter brings over a nice big glass bottle of sparkling spring water, now you know exactly where it comes from. I found it absolutely fascinating learning all about it. Who knew that all of this was going on underneath us as we speak? It made me weirdly proud to be British, to know that our water was so prolific. Cheers!